Hi, this is Charlie from Atomic Smashers. Hope everyone's doing great today. It's kind of rainy where we're at today, and I came across this 1-minute video that Master Carlos Machado shot. And there's so much jiu-jitsu here and stuff that I've been experimenting with and training that I've seen him use in this video that shocked me. That he's doing sort of the same things that I've been trying to experiment. So I wanted to shoot an explanation of what he's trying to do and why that you would try to do the things he's doing. Okay, so let's start.
Let's go for a simple shoulder lock. Double sleeve.
Okay, right here. For those that train with the Gracie Academy, the combatives, to me, he's in stage 2 of the punch block series. He had both control sleeves, his sleeves, and his knee, and he's pulling the sleeves on the outside of his knees. And I've been trying to use this a lot. I try to in my clothes guard. I've been trying to work on just getting sleeve control, then getting to I call my open guard with my get my knee in the mix as I'm on my side, and then I have been trying to also use this punch block series, go to punch block, because with my feet on his hips and control the sleeves around my knees, if I flare my knees out, it brings the opponent off balance. And if you noticed in this picture here, the opponent does not have good posture. His upper body is leaning forward, and that's because and the great thing about getting to this control, getting to this position where you have the knees and the control sleeves, it's actually easy now to go and get a deep collar grip, or maybe even not so deep, but to get the collar grip, because it's difficult for the opponent to defend it, because first of all, there's one arm. In this case, you'll have a grip of one sleeve, but that arm cannot come into the mix and he cannot defend. And then the second arm is kind of blocked by the knee, so he would have to bring his arm up in a big circle and try to fit it through. Then maybe he could push his shoulder back a little bit, but that whole movement, that big circular movement, shoulder escape a little bit and let the arm through, it takes way too long. You'll beat him every time to the collar grip. And we've tried this at the garage, and we tested this, and every time we were able to get the collar grip before the opponent could defend it. And we actually did another exercise. We did another exercise where we were just in the closed guard and we tried to just sit up to get deep collar grips. And the reverse was we couldn't get it. None of us could actually get one without the opponent defending. And I've been on a big kick of this, of not grip fighting, because it's not effective or efficient. And all too often when we roll, we think we're just going to sit up and grab deep collar grips, or most of your jiu-jitsu instructionals, they just sit up and grab the deep collar grip. The guy who's in the closed guard doesn't fight it off. He just grabs it to show technique. But in reality, when you roll, he's going to fight it off. It's going to be a battle to get that, unless you do something else first to eliminate his arms for defending, so you can go up to the collar grip. In this case, this is how he did it with punch block stage 2, flaring out the knees, and so now he can. And what I also noticed from experimentation, it's easier to get the hand and collar if you're on your side. The reason why, and you could try this, when you get on your side, your arm becomes longer. Your shoulder now, for the arm that you want to use, the hand that you want to get in to the collar, it'll become longer because the shoulder's forward. If you're flat on your back, your shoulder's back. So that also makes a big difference. So in this case, I would get to stage 2, isolate, and then maybe I would get a little bit on, in this case, the right hip, of Carlos Machado. Maybe I'd be more on my hip a little bit more, so that my shoulder, my left shoulder, would be more forward of my right shoulder, which would make my arm longer and easy to grab into the collar. Okay, let's move on.
Collar grip, kick the leg, heel behind the
Okay,
head.
okay, because he had control of the opponent's sleeve, he was able to bring his leg up and around and bite down to totally grab uh, and take the balance of the opponent. I call this a valley tudo guard. That's what I learned. That's what I learned. What this was named from Henry Akins when he shot his series, and that's what I call the valley tudo guard. And they use this in the reason why they like this valley tudo guard and get up this high, because it's difficult for the opponent to punch you if you get into this position. He really has a hard time trying to punch you now. So Carlos Machado's leg comes up, comes down, bites down up high. The only thing I could say is what a little trick too is to make you hit your leg a lot heavier is I put my heel forward and my toes back. I flex them back, my toes. This makes your leg a lot. Actually makes a big difference. It'll make your leg seem a lot more stronger, a lot more heavier. And if you notice, he still keeps the sleeve control from here. And another thing, that's also why he went for the collar first, right? Trust me, he's smart, he's wise, because that's just more control he has of the opponent. And when he has his hand in the collar and the leg coming down, you see how far he brings the opponents right down. His posture is totally broken. He couldn't be any worse than this. So, and like to come from there, from here, he has many submissions he can go for. He could do an omoplata. He could just go for a wrist lock. He could do an arm crush. There's just many things you could do. It's almost limitless the kind of submissions that you can go to when you have the opponent in this position. And if you notice his other leg, his left leg's going to come into the mix here, right? He wants to make sure it doesn't get stuck. So let's see what happens.
Bump your hip, push the
Okay, he bumped his hip up. Now, why did he bump his hip up? He put the weight, more weight on the opponent by getting his hip up, which causes the opponent to go to the corner, which allowed him to pull his leg out like an arm bar, right? It's almost like he did the arm bar without the arm that you're going to arm bar in the mix. So what he did that for is he got more weight on the back. He's using his heels, and it's very important that his hips are high because he's putting the weight down on the opponent so he can't posture up.
shoulder, everything is heavy here on the shoulder. So, lift your hip. Now here, you switch your hands, one on the wrist, the other one on the hip. Pull the hip to you, face away. Pull the hip to you.
Okay, very simply what he did there is he connected his hip. He moved and connected. He walked up the back and connected his hip to the opponent and grabbed his belt or his gi. It looks like a little bit of both there. He didn't get such a great grip on the belt, but the gi, that's okay. And the most important part, then he rolled onto his hip, which brought the opponent down. Okay, he's definitely going for a normal plata here, right? So now the trick becomes, let's see how he moves the rest of the way here.
Walk away. Stomp.
Okay, that's very important. He walks away. So you stay on your hip, and you walk away. Left, right, left, right, left, right with your feet, but you would stay on his left hip. And why do you do that? It makes the opponent fall down the hole. As you can see, the opponent is totally down now on the mat. The opponent's not on him anymore. On Master Carlos, he's on the mat, right? And so that's critical because what he wants is his elbow. He wants his elbow to be on the mat. The opponent's elbow to be on the mat. Once you have that, ooh, very good. So now once he's got them down the mat, now he's gonna go flat, and he's gonna trans. If you notice, he's still grabbing on the opponent there as well. That's preventing him from trying to get up, and that's also to help it. Well, it may not prevent him getting up, but it's helping push his hip over onto the opponent's. It's actually taking that grip, is taking and putting it there, making it hard for him to get up, plus holding him in the hole. Okay, so now he's going flat because he's going to transition his base flat to face the opponent to get on. So Carlos is going to try to get on his right hip.
And as you're here, make sure your elbow flattens on the thigh.
Okay, very important. As he's switching to get to his right hip, so establishing his base on the his right hip, he's putting his weight on the opponent's thigh. That'll prevent him from getting up, right? Very simple, very basic thing.
So he can go really far and he doesn't roll over. Once your leg is in angle, you turn your knee out, you hop. You see how I gotta kick your leg like I'm doing here? Hop, control, and then from here, foot on the.
Okay, so again, these are the type of movements that we all should be used to, right? Again, his elbow is pretty much on definitely his shoulder is on the mat and holding onto his elbow. And I like to put the elbow down on the mat as well, so I would actually turn my hips more towards the guy's shoulder, that I would then put his elbow down on the mat. I do it just slightly different. I think they're both correct. How it can be done the way Carlos has done, the way I do it. The main thing you should see, sort of like this gymnastic, a natural hip stretch that we do. And he gets right into it, and now I think he'll just post up on this leg, go to a corner, and he'll get the submission.
Round, and as you move forward, it's all she wrote. Let's go for a simple shoulder lock. Double.
Okay, so hopefully you enjoyed the video, and I provided some good details that were not provided by Carlos for within his guard, and how he got the grips and how he moved to the value to the guard, and then how he transitioned into the omoplata. Okay, take care. Bye.